Will the Chiefs make the playoffs this year? Let's talk about it. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of Chiefs fans coming after me saying, oh, Patrick Mahomes is like the best quarterback in the league. They have Travis Kelce. They're a franchise team. And yeah, I know that. But you gotta start realizing that, like, now more than ever, there's a lot more talent in the league. And with that, you also have to consider that there's more talent in the AFC than the NFC, and if you watch like football at all, you can't really disagree with that. Like, if you look at like the quarterbacks and the receivers and the tight ends in the AFC, it's more stacked than those in the NFC. Now, one thing to consider now is that you have teams in the AFC, like the Browns now with Deshaun Watson, the Bills. I'm trying to. Then we got the Ravens. We got the Steelers now. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's gone, but they're rebuilding their team. They got a lot of talent in the AFC. They got the Dolphins too, who has kind of going rebuilding their team now too. They got Tyreek Hill. They got one of the old Cardinals running backs and the 49ers old running backs. And it's just so much. They're rebuilding their team so much in the AFC. It's like the Chargers getting Khalil Mack. That you gotta start considering, can the best of the best like make it every year in these like really tough situations. But for other divisions, we could have wild cards like the Browns, the Ravens. But for this video, I want to be just talking about like the AFC West, just that division. Justin Herbert had one of the best rookie seasons you could have for a rookie quarterback in like NFL history. Not to mention that the Chargers are rebuilding their defense, and they got a pretty decent receiving core as well as one of the best running backs in the league. So you could have the Chargers winning the AFC West. But let's talk about the Broncos. Russell Wilson just got traded to the Broncos. He's one of the best pocket quarterbacks in the league in sports history. He's been to two Super Bowls already, just as many as Patrick Mahomes, even though he is more of a veteran. But the Broncos do have a good receiving core. Even though they did lose Noah Fant, but I could see them picking up somebody during the draft or in the offseason. They did, I think it was by PFF or PPF, I forgot the name of it. According to them, the Broncos had a top 5 defense this past year, and when you put that with Russell Wilson and having a good young running back like Javonte Williams, having a decent receiving core, that's also going to bring up, their standings. I think they had 6 wins last season, 7 wins, and that was with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater, and they weren't even that good. And now you have one of the higher-end quarterbacks in the league, who was with a lower-end franchise at the time, but now he's with the Broncos. They could win it, and then you guys have the Raiders now, who now I would say of any team in the NFL has the best quarterback, wide receiver, tight end trio. You got Derek Carr, who's considerably or arguably a top 10 quarterback. You got Davante Adams, the number 1 receiver in the league, and Darren Waller, who's arguably a top 5 tight end in the league. They have a good defense too. I don't know if it's top 10 or anything, but the defense is doing well. The running game could be a little bit better, but it's still pretty decent. People are saying that, well, Derek Carr is a mediocre quarterback. Well, he hasn't really had like a top receiver, I think, that he played with in the past 8 years now, but he played with Davante Adams in college. So this could bring about like some college connections and him throwing to Davante Adams like how Aaron Rodgers threw to Davante Adams. And, Darren Waller being a top 5 tight end, people could say, well, what about Darren Waller? Well, he's injury prone, and it's not like, and sorry about that. You also have to consider that tight ends aren't always the primary receiver on the team. Even though now for the Chiefs, Travis Kelce will most likely catch most of the passes. But with the Raiders, I feel like Darren Waller is more of a blocking tight end, and that's what half of the tight ends are in the league. What most tight ends are they block. They do. Some have good catching skills, but they'll do block and catch. That's the point. And I don't think Darren Waller. Well, I think Darren Waller is going to be more of a blocking. I'm so stuck. I was trying to get across. Hold on, let me think. Sorry about that. I had a brain fart. What I was trying to get at is that, like I was saying before, he's just injury prone. Yeah. And I also feel like Derek Carr is a type of quarterback to throw to all of his receivers. Henry Ruggs wasn't really like a top receiver in the league. Neither was Hunter Renfrow. I don't know what the receivers were before that, but I don't think they were that good. And with all these teams in the AFC West, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders, they all have good quarterbacks. They all have top 10 quarterbacks in that division alone. And they all have a good receiving core, a good running game, and a good defense. And I'm not saying with the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl 2 of the last 3 years, I think, that they can't make the playoffs. But I'm just saying that if they don't, I don't think it should become such as a shocker to the football community. Listen, I know how talented Patrick Mahomes is, and I know how much it can bring to the team, but you gotta start realizing how much talent there is everywhere else in that division and in that conference.